Hello everyone, welcome to the class and good morning. So today we are discuss about the Hindu newspaper on 29th January 2025. Okay, 29 January 2025. So let's start our first topic. Okay, so first topic is ISRO set for a historic 100th launch from Sriharikota. Okay, so uh, Indian Space Research Organization ISRO will the yearly hours of Wednesday oversee the historic 100th launch from the Satish Dhawan Space Center SC in Sriharikota with the GSLV F-15 mission. Okay, the first launch on August 10, 1979 was the experimental flight on satellite launch vehicle 3 and SLVS E-10. Okay, carrying the Rohini technology payload, which was only partially successful. According to the space agency, former President of India APJ Abdul Kalam, who was then with the ISRO, was the director of mission. Dr. Kalam and the ISRO official recovered from the setback and tested success with SLV-3 E2 a year later on July 18, 1980. Okay, as the Rohini satellite R1 was placed in orbit. After this, ISRO launched 2 more SLV mission for augmented satellite launch vehicle ASLV mission and 62 missions from its workhouse, the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle PSLV. Okay, and 16 geosynchronous satellite launch vehicle GSLV mission, 7 launch vehicle Mark 3 LMV3 mission, 3 small satellite launch vehicle SSLV mission, 1 reusable launch vehicle RLV mission, 1 test vehicle abort mission, and 1 paired abort test PTA as part of Gangayaan program. Okay, and landmark mission. Among its landmark missions were India's lunar mission, including the PSLV C-11 Chandrayaan 1 in 2008 and the GSLV MK 3rd M1 Chandrayaan 2nd in 2019 and the LVM3 M4 Chandrayaan 3 in 2023, which made India's first country to touch down in the polar region of the moon. Okay, you remember ना कि मून के साउथ पोल पर सॉफ्ट लैंडिंग की थी चंद्रयान 3 ने. ओके, सक्सेसफुल रहा है. एंड द PSLV C-25 मार्स orbiter mission in 2013 was another important launch as it was India's first interplanetary mission, and the PSLV C-57 Aditya L1 in 2023 was India's first mission to study the sun. Okay, India's first mission to study the sun. And another watershed moment was the launch of the PSLV C-37, Cartosat 2nd series in 2017. During this mission, the ISRO launched a record 104 satellites in single flight. This was record till 2021 when it was broken by the SpaceX Falcon 9 that launched 143 satellite. It has not been all rosy for the space agency and launch pad as there have also been multiple failure, including the GSLV F-02 and INS-80 4C in 2006 and GSLV D3, GS-80 and GSLV F-06 GS-85P in 2010 and the GSLV F-10 EOS-03. Now, the launch of a navigation satellite on board onboard GSLV rocket, which will also be the first mission for ISRO. Chairman V. Narayan will take place on Wednesday. ओके अभी आज 29 जनवरी 2025 को ये मिशन लॉन्च हो रहा है, हो गया है, मतलब आई थिंक 6:30 AM पर हुआ है, कंफर्म नहीं है बट आई थिंक हुआ है, 6:30 AM पर हुआ है, मॉर्निंग में हुआ है. ओके इसरो GSLV 15 all set to launch the NVS-2 satellite on January 29 from Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sriharikota, Andhra Pradesh. Okay, this will mark ISRO 100th launch from the Space Center. Okay, so the geosynchronous satellite vehicle GSLV with indigenous cryogenic apparatus in its 17th flight carrying the navigation satellite NVS-02 is scheduled for lift off at 6:23. ओके देखो 6:23 AM पर हुआ है. ओके मैं बोल रही थी 6:30 AM बट 6:23 AM हुआ है on January 29, I mean today. Okay, the countdown begins 27 hours before the lift off time, and the 50.9 meter tall GSLV F15 follows the GSLV F12 mission, and which successfully carried navigation satellite NVS-01, the first of the second generation satellite series, almost 2 years ago on May 29 to 2023. ओके एंड व्हाट इज इसरोज 100th मिशन, इसके बारे में देखते हैं कि ये है क्या. द नेविगेशन सैटेलाइट NVS-02 that ISRO is launching in its historic 100th mission from the Satish Dhawan Space Center on Wednesday is the second in the series of the navigation with Indian constellation and AVIC, and aimed to provide accurate position and velocity and timing to users in the Indian subcontinent as well as to regions about 1,500 km beyond the Indian landmass. Okay. NavIC comprises 5 second generation satellite NVS 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 InVSAT to argument NavIC base layer constellation with enhanced features for ensuring continuity of services. The NVS-02 satellite designed and developed by the UR satellite, okay, and center with about 2,250 kg. It has navigations payload in L1, L5 and S bands. Okay, L1, L5 and S bands, in addition to rigging payload in C band like its predecessor NVS-01. And according to ISRO, the key applications and satellite would be used for terrestrial and aerial and maritime navigation, precision agriculture and fleet management, and location-based services in mobile devices, and orbit determination for satellites, Internet of Things IoT and based applications, emergency and timing services. Now, next topic is the budget pipeline and India's foreign policy ambitions. Okay, so what is India's foreign policy? Okay, now foreign policy refers to a country's plan is handling other nations. It dictates how countries will relate and collaborate. It is made up of trade, peace and security objectives. Foreign policy adds the formation of inter-country relationship, okay, and government use it protects their interest and global understanding. India's foreign policy has some major factors influencing India's foreign policy, like geography, while deciding the basic principles of Indian foreign policy. And some of the crucial determinants of Indian foreign policy are disaster disarmament and world peace while deciding India's foreign policy after independence. Introduction: all sovereign countries have their foreign policy. India also has its foreign policy. The term foreign policy refer to the interest, objectives and principles, okay, and that a country promotes while interacting with foreign countries. Even there are some basic features of a foreign policy, and they are not permanent, okay, they are not permanent. The changing international conditions result in changing the foreign policy of a country. Obviously changing international conditions so result in changing of the foreign policy of a country. And India's history, culture, economy and geography are some major factors influencing Indian foreign policy, okay. And Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, our first prime minister, and gave proper shape to India's foreign policy. Principles of Indian foreign policy: preservation of national interest, disarmament, achievement of the world peace, and independence of Afro-Asian nations have been important determinants of Indian foreign policy. And the primary objectives of India's foreign policy after independence and sought to be accomplished through some principles. Panchsheel, these thing is very important. What is Panchsheel? आगे हम डिस्कस करेंगे, okay. Panchsheel, anti-colonialism and non-alignment and anti-racism principles in the UN and anti-imperialism, okay. Expanding these principles would be beneficial for the entire world. Now देखो, Panchsheel principle of mutual coexistence discussed upon here. First is mutual respect for each other's traditional integrity and sovereignty, okay. And the second is mutual non-interference in each other's internal affairs, okay, and equal and mutual benefit working relationship. And fourth one is mutual non-aggression, okay. And fifth, peaceful coexistence, April 28, 1954, okay. So Panchsheel, point number first, Pandit Nehru was said to be a believer in world peace. He believed in the link between peace for the survival and development of mankind, and he saw the destruction caused by the two world wars, and which made him realize that a long-term peace plan was in the hours of need for the betterment of a nation. In the absence of peace, economic and social priorities relating to development tend to post in the background. The generation of nuclear weapons in the world intensified Nehru's faith in the peaceful philosophy and thus gave utmost importance to world peace in Indian foreign policy planning. India's first desire is friendly and peaceful relations with all the countries, and basically with the neighboring nations and big powers. On April 28, 1954, at the time of signing an agreement with China, India advocated adhering to the Panchsheel, okay. अभी आपने देखा कि ये जो लिखा हुआ है इस पे डेट है कि अप्रैल 28, 1954. सो ये डेट है हमारी एक चाइना और इंडिया के बीच में जो एग्रीमेंट साइन किया गया था उसकी एग्रीमेंट पंचशील, ओके. विच आर द बेसिक 5 प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ इंडियन फॉरेन पॉलिसी फॉर द कंडक्ट ऑफ बाईलैटरल रिलेशंस, ओके. Bilateral relation, it comprises the following. First one, reciprocal respect for each other territorial sovereignty and integrity. जैसे हमने अभी पीछे देखे वही 5 प्रिंसिपल्स हैं, ओके. सेकंड वन इज रेसिप्रोकल नॉन एग्रीगेशन एंड थर्ड वन इज रेसिप्रोकल नॉन इंटरफेरेंस in each other's inner affairs, okay. And fourth one is equality and common benefit. Fifth, last, amicable coexistence. Okay, the Panchsheel Treaty computes best the principles of friendly coexistence with neighbors, and it is a crucial element of India's foreign policy. Now, non-alignment is said to be the most crucial feature of India's foreign policy. Okay, it is aimed to maintain the independence of the nation in foreign affairs by not collaborating with any military alliance formed by the Soviet Union and the USA in the aftermath of the World War II. It was neither involvement. Okay, it was neither non-involvement nor isolation nor neutrality. Okay, the non-alignment concept is dynamic, which means not committing to any military alliance. Okay, but taking an independent stand on international problems according to the merits of each case. And the non-alignment policy won numerous followers in developing countries. It allowed them to safeguard their sovereignty and also conserve their freedom of action during the uncertainty ridden Cold War time. Okay, India played a significant role in developing the non-alignment movement, NAM. Now, the concept of non-alignment came from a gradual process. In 1947, Pandit Nehru took the initiative to assemble the Asian Relations Conference held in New Delhi, and later in 1955, a conference was held in Bandung, Indonesia. Okay, of the 29 nations of Africa and Asia. A 1961 conference was the first to work together for peace, economic and cultural and political cooperations and colonial liberation. Okay, the first non-alignment conference held in 1951 was a reasonable process to project a substitute to Cold War federation politics and asserting newly independent nations to their autonomous and sovereign rights. The Cold War was a severe rivalry between the Soviet Union and the USA without combating a direct battle to attract supporter in Asia, Africa and Latin America. It began soon after World War II and continued for 45 years. Okay, these two big provinces become two different poles known as East and West. World politics spiraled around these two poles. Okay, therefore the world became a bipolar among the non-aligned. Okay, Pandit Nehru had formulated a special relationship with the President Tito of Yugoslavia. Okay, Tito of Yugoslavia and Nasser of Egypt. Okay, Pandit Nehru had formulated a special relationship with the President Tito of Yugoslavia and Nasser of Egypt. These three are considered the founding father of the non-aligned movement. Okay, remember that Pandit Nehru, okay, and Tito of Yugoslavia's president and Nasser of Egypt's president. There are three considered the following father of the non-aligned movement. The non-aligned movement was a group of the newly independent nations who declined to submit to the dictates of the former colonial masters and decide to function according to their judgment on issue of worldwide concern. Okay, the non-aligned India and the world movement is an anti-imperialist approach. Okay, as the prime inventor of the non-alignment movement, India has taken an active part in its development. Okay, the nation which believed in the non-alignment movement, non-theless and of size, importance, had an opportunity to contribute to global decision making and world politics. In 1983, India hosted the 17th NAM Non-Aligned Movement Summit summit at New Delhi. Okay, India hosted at 17th Non-Aligned Movement summit in New Delhi. India wished non-aligned movement would take up the motive of development and demilitarization and the Palestine question. Since NAM was an output the Cold War scenario and the bipolar world, many philosophers have interviewed the relevance of non-aligned movement after the end of the Cold War and the seasons of the Soviet Union. Okay, the relatives of non-aligned movement after the end of the Cold War and the cessation of the Soviet Union and Soviet Union and nonetheless non-aligned movement has a crucial role to play even in the existing scenario. First, with the corrosion of the Soviet Union, the world faces a warning from the unipolar world. The non-aligned movement can behave as a check against US authority, and secondly, the developed north and developed south, okay, developed north and developing south world are half over several economic cases. The non-aligned movement remains a very appropriate forum for the third world nations to immerse remain the developed countries in a productive dialogue, and moreover the non-aligned movement can prove to be an influential instrument for the South-South alliance. Okay, and such a thing is crucial if the third world nations are to boost their bragging power with the developed nations. India resumed taking on active part in the non-aligned movement even after the Cold War demise. Finally, the developing nations united under the summit of non-aligned movement have to combat the reform of the UN United Nations and alter it according to the necessities of the 21st century. Now, next topic is child marriage. Okay, child marriage. 12 and the Allahabad High Court in 2024 annulled the marriage of a couple who got married when the was 12 and the woman and 9 was a boy, I think, under the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act PCMA 2026. Okay, so now child marriage is defined as a marriage of a girl or boy before the age of 18. It includes both formal marriage and informal unions in which children under the age of 18 live with a partner as if married. Okay, so the Supreme Court of India has asked the Parliament to consider banning child betrothals and marriage fixed in minority. Okay, marriage fixed in minority of a child by amending the Prohibition of Child Marriage Act PCMA Act of 2006. Okay, the Supreme Court has held that marriage fixed in the minority of a child violate their free choice, okay, and childhood, and infring on a child's right to autonomy and self-agency. A 3-judge bench presided by Chief Justice of India D.Y. Chandrachud held that international law such as the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women CEDAW, okay, Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women also stipulates against betrothals of minor child marriage in India. Now, global status of child marriage. Global status of child marriage. First is about 40 million girls aged 15 to 19 are currently married or in a union worldwide. Okay, and the global Girlhood report by Save the Children estimates that an additional 5 million girls are at risk of child marriage globally between 2020 and 2025 as a result of reported increase in all types of gender-based violence due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And according to Save the Children, and about 15 million girls and boys will never return to school following pandemic lockdown and school closures. Okay, children who don't come back to school are at greater risk of early marriage. Okay, child labor and recruitment into the armed force. Now, countries with the highest number of child marriage in the world. Okay, first number पर देखो India, now Bangladesh, next Nigeria, Brazil, and Ethiopia and Pakistan. Okay, now in India, according to the NHFS 5 data, okay, child marriage in India have significantly decreased from 47% to 23.3 between 2015 and 2021 due to several measures such as Prevention of Child Marriage Act. 8 states have higher prevalence of child marriage than the national average, which includes state West Bengal, Bihar, Tripura. Okay. According to UNICEF, at least 5 million girls under 18 get married in India. This makes India the home to the largest number of child brides in the world and accounting for 33% of the global total. Nearly 16% of adults and girls aged 15 to 19 are currently married. Okay, and the reasons for prevalence of child marriage. What is the reasons for prevalence child marriage? Child marriage has strong roots in culture, economic and religion. Now, poverty. First reason हो सकता है poverty. Poor families sell their children through marriage to pay off debts or to get out of the cycle of poverty. Okay, and the second is protecting the girl sexuality. Okay, आप देख सकते हो कि मतलब कंडीशन कैसी हो रखी है. सेकेंड रीजन हो सकता है कि protecting the girl sexuality. In some cultures, मैरिंग ए गर्ल यंग इज थॉट टू प्रोटेक्ट. ओके, बहुत लोग सोचते हैं कि अगर शादी कर दे तो वो प्रोटेक्ट रहेगी. एंड द गर्ल्स सेक्सुअलिटी एंड द फैमिलीज ऑनर. थर्ड वन, custom and tradition. The prevalence of customary practices like dowry, okay, and also leads to an increase in child marriage. Generally, the amount of dowry rises with age of the girl beyond a certain limit, so families prefer to marry this girl young. Fourth one is security. Security. Parents often marry their daughters of young to secure a good future for them. Okay, abuse, rape, and other crimes against girls, but also makes parents turn to child marriage as a way to protect their daughters. But ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. Okay, you know, security इस तरीके से किसी को नहीं मिल रही है. ये सारे जो क्राइम्स हैं, ये अब्यूज़ करना उनको, ये सारे क्राइम्स, रेप होना, ये सब ऐसा नहीं कि मैरिड के बाद ऐसा नहीं होता है. ये सिक्योरिटी भी मतलब ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. ओके, एंड नंबर 5 इज डिस्क्रिमिनेशन बेस्ड ऑन जेंडर. चाइल्ड मैरिज इज ए मैनिफेस्टेशन ऑफ डिस्क्रिमिनेशन अगेंस्ट गर्ल एंड वुमेन. ये होता है. एंड अकॉर्डिंग टू ए UNICEF रिपोर्ट ऑन चाइल्ड मैरिज एंड द लॉ, चाइल्ड मैरिज ए मेजर मैनिफेस्टेशन ऑफ जेंडर बेस्ड डिस्क्रिमिनेशन. ओके, next one is laxity in implementation of laws. Laxity in implementation of laws like the Prevention of Child Marriage Act 2006, non-registration of marriage, and also increase the child marriage in India. Now, what steps have been taken to check child marriage? First one, historical effort. In 19th century, the social reformers like Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Ishwar Chandra, and Vidyasagar and Pandit Ramabai worked for uprooting the evil practices. Okay, and the Sharda Act passed into 1929 raised the age of marriage to 14 years for girls and 18 years for boys. Second one, legislative steps. The Hindu Marriage Act 1955 prescribed age for marriage 18 for girls and 21 for boys, and Prohibition of Child Marriage Act PCMA 2006. This law replaced the Child Marriage Restraints Act 1929. It criminalized the act of person who perform, conduct, direct or abets any child marriage and provides for punishment with an imprisonment of up to 2 years and fine up to INR 1 lakh. Okay, and नेक्स्ट वन, बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ स्कीम 2015. ओके, आपको याद होगा बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ स्कीम 2015 में स्टार्ट की गई थी. द प्रोग्राम विच इज इम्प्लीमेंटेड बाय द मिनिस्टर ऑफ वुमेन एंड चाइल्ड डेवलपमेंट एंड एम्स टू ब्रेक जेंडर स्टीरियोटाइप एंड प्रिवेंट चाइल्ड मैरिज. Now, last one is protection to a child bride is also provided by the Juvenile Justice, Care and Protection of Children Act 2015, the Domestic Violence Act 2005, and the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act 2012. Now, government policies. Union government. Under the National Population Policy 2000, under the National Population Policy 2000 and National Youth Policy 2003, steps have been taken by the central government to address child marriage, and the union government has launched schemes like the Beti Bachao Beti Padhao, okay, Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana for child marriage prevention, okay, and the state government. Rajasthan has started the action approach for the reduction of yearly marriage and yearly pregnancy, and West Bengal's Kanya Shri scheme and Rupa Shri scheme are also aimed to elimination of child marriage. Okay, so I hope ये टॉपिक आपको क्लियर है, एंड आज के लिए इतना ही रखते हैं. नेक्स्ट की क्लास में कल मिलते हैं, तब तक के लिए बाय. और अगर आपको PDF चाहिए तो आपको डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में जाकर के टेलीग्राम चैनल ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं, वहाँ से आपको PDF मिल जाए. ओके, सो कल तक के लिए इतना, आज के लिए इतना ही रखते हैं. फिर नेक्स्ट वीडियो में कल मिलते हैं, तब तक के लिए बाय. थैंक्स फॉर वॉचिंग.